Good afternoon, everyone. Johanna Miller, Clean Energy and Climate Program Director at the Vermont Natural Resources Council. We're here today with our weekly climate dispatch, joined by my colleague Lauren Hierl once again. And it is our honor to have Senator Bray, the chair of the Senate Natural Resources and Energy Committee, here with us today as well. Thank you so much for joining us, Senator Bray. There's so much happening. We want to give you a very brief update on all that's happening. Before I turn it over to the senator, I just want to give you sort of a lay of the land on the highlights when it comes to climate and clean energy. We've been keeping you abreast of many different important priorities. Let me start first with the environmental justice bill that Senator Bray helped usher out of his committee, and through a strong vote of the full Senate, the environmental justice bill is now in the House Natural Resources and Energy Committee, and it sounds like they're going to take up that bill next week, which is great. So thank you, Senator, to you and your colleagues for moving that forward. Much of the other climate work is actually now happening in the Senate, much of it in Senator Bray's committee, as you will hear about. But a big piece of that work is also happening in Senate appropriations, where they are discussing the budget. And as you know, the House passed about a $200 million commitment to climate in the budget. And we're hoping the Senate maintains and holds firm on that really critical level of investment as a down payment on implementing the Global Warming Solutions Act and doing what we need to do when it comes to climate, job creation, and really helping Vermonters reduce our reliance on the imported fossil fuels that so many of us use. So there's huge movement when it comes to the budget. Big conversations around transportation also connected to the budget. And we've been keeping you abreast of the Municipal Energy Resilience Bill, the $48 million package to help municipalities reduce their energy consumption and get access to more clean heating resources. So that too, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Bray, because he has been leading on two of the biggest climate bills, including the clean heat standard. I mean, many of our organizations have been hard at work trying to figure out how do we tackle the thermal sector, starting first with efficiency and conservation, which goes hand in hand with the clean heat standard, but also requiring our liquid and heating fuel sector to participate in the energy transition and help Vermonters get off of imported fossil fuels. A well-designed clean heat standard that has climate integrity and life cycle greenhouse gas emissions accounting and equity embedded in it will help us do that. So Senator Bray, you are deep in that work. Please tell us where you're at in that process and what you hope to see delivered when it comes to advancing that policy. And thanks again.
Okay. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Lauren. It's always good to join you. And I'm going to have to become a regular listener so I can keep track of all the energy bills, how everything's moving. It is true, this year we have a lot of traffic through Senate Natural Resources and Energy. So I'll stick, there are a lot of things we could talk about, but just for bigger bills that are moving right now, we've been taking testimony for several weeks on the clean heat standard, and we plan to vote it out at the beginning of next week. So it'll be off to, I believe, the Appropriations Committee, and then it'll be on the Senate floor. So probably 10 days or so from now, it should be up on the floor in the Senate. And I think your listeners probably know plenty about the clean heat standard, but I think, for me, it reminds me of what it must have been like to be participating in the development of our electrical energy efficiency utility for the state, Efficiency Vermont, because we're looking at a statewide program with statewide impacts and that will operate for the long term. And I think what's powerful about it, well, one, there's the need for both climate change reasons and our moral obligation to respond. We need to make progress on this area, which is lagged behind. Thermal heat is the second largest source of greenhouse gases, and we have not done enough. We have a great program for low income weatherization, but that program, we did a bill last year. We'll be doing a second installment this year. So I'm going to take a detour into weatherization for a moment. We have a record $80 million appropriation being assigned to weatherization work. And so everyone, I think that's all well understood. Make a house more healthy, more comfortable, and more fuel efficient. Okay, it's great. But that only helps us meet about 20% of our greenhouse gas emission reduction goals in the housing sector. So The other 80% needs to come from burning less in the way of fossil fuels. And so that is the point of the clean heat standard, to allow people to make their own choices. There are a lot of ways to reduce fossil fuel use, lower your emissions, and all at the same time. The encouraging part is that it's going to save Vermonters money by making these changes. And I'll add one caveat. Of course, it takes money up front to make the change. And so what we're working on is making it more affordable for more Vermonters to make the switch. No one, I think, actually burns a fossil fuel because they like a fossil fuel. They burn it because they'd like to be warm. And so what we're trying to do is help people find other ways to stay warm and also save money and, save the environment, sounds a little cliched, but it goes house by house by house. Saving the planet is about people making responsible choices on how they handle energy. So I left out from that, so that's 715. That's the clean heat standard, again, being voted next week, floor the week after. The weatherization bill, we already voted out. That's 284, but if you're looking for it, it will kind of have disappeared because the provisions in that bill are just being put directly into the budget itself, which is how we moved it last year. And then the last bill is H518, which Joey alluded to, about municipal opportunities to invest in renewable energy. And we'll be taking that up starting next week. And that is currently slated to create opportunities totaling about $35 million for towns around the state to up their game on reducing fossil fuel dependence and using more renewable energy. It builds on a well understood model that we've already been operating for years. We're starting to fire on all cylinders. We relied heavily on just doing our electrical use more efficiently, but finally we're getting a broader portfolio of programs reaching out into more areas. And if I were to look ahead to next year, I would say, okay, next session, it's transportation's turn to become part of the movement to a permanent shift to cleaner fuels to get us, to help us move around. That's it.
That is a great overview. Thank you so much for providing that context and for all the hard work. I think you're so right. It's a big, hard policy, the clean heat standard, with a lot of moving pieces, and it's exciting to work on and to be tackling the heating sector finally after so many years of needing to. So thanks for all the work that your committee is doing to slog through that and try to get the details right. And we know lots of people are working hard on how are we ensuring it's, driving down climate pollution the way we need to, accounting for greenhouse gas emissions the way we need to, and centering equity and how we do the transition, which I think you hit on all those in your overview. So, we always like to end these with a call to action. And right now, that's the bill with the, most need for a push and for some support from all of you. Again, just reaching out to your senators and letting them know that you support a well-crafted clean heat standard that's going to drive down pollution the way we need it to. It's going to account for greenhouse gas emissions and center equity. Would be a great message to deliver. We really need to get the details right, but we also need to be moving on big ideas like this. And so we're so grateful for all the work happening. And thanks for all of you for staying tuned and updated. And I'm sure we'll be back with you next week, hopefully with some more progress to report. So much going on. So thanks for all you do, and we'll check back with you soon. Have a good weekend.
Great. Bye-bye.